What's going on, guys? Welcome back. So, in case you guys haven't heard the big news, Jedi Revan is coming to the game finally. We got a nice big teaser trailer for him. There was a nice little code language thing that people had to figure out. And basically, Jedi Revan is coming to the game. We've had confirmation. I am super excited for him to be here. Fingers crossed, hopefully he is going to be the nail in the coffin for the Traya meta, because that meta has been here for way too long. It's just way too annoying, and I'm hoping that Revan is going to be the answer to finally getting rid of that, finishing what Chewbacca started for the most part. So I want to talk to you guys about his event. There's been some speculation. There's been people saying it's going to be a hero's journey character, a legendary character. We're going to get him through some kind of new raid or some new kind of event. In my opinion, he's going to be a legendary character. I'm going to talk to you guys about why I think he's a legendary character versus the other modes, of why you won't see him there. I'll also go into details about who I think you're going to need to farm him, though really, if you guys are paying any attention to it, or you've ever played KOTOR, or you know any of the history with Revan, the characters I think you're going to need to farm to unlock Revan should not be all that surprising anyways. So I'll go into detail all about that. So let's go ahead and start breaking down the video that introduced Revan, and then we can start talking about what the legendary could possibly mean with that trailer. Okay, so this is the event, this is the trailer that CG released to tease us. A legend from the Old Republic has emerged, which, okay, cool. You wonder who that could be. We get this, and this, you can't really tell much. There's been some pictures that have been released that show Revan in a white robe costume that looks a lot like this. I'll show you guys that image here in a minute. So this is what we have, and then these four words pop up on the line. And anybody who's played KOTOR will tell you those four words are part of a line dropped from Darth Malak: Savior, Conqueror, Hero, Villain. And then he goes into describing how that, talking about how that describes Darth Revan. It pretty much confirms Revan is coming to the game. So we know that he's coming there. And then this happens where hero is the last word to fade out. Where, you know, so then that's been the speculation that we're going to get some kind of hero's journey maybe, but I think this is just confirming that it's going to be a light side version of Revan, and that I think is going to be great because I was really dreading having a Sith Revan here, but now this means we could be getting a light side Revan, a Jedi Revan, which has now been confirmed, but we are going to get a hero, but not necessarily a hero's journey, which I'll talk about here in a moment. Now, this character is another interesting character that has shown up before in the games. I believe its name is a Terran Tarek or something like that. Terran Tadek. Yes, here we go. And this creature shows up in KOTOR, and you have to fight it. But basically, this creature is what I think you're going to be fighting in the legendary event to unlock Revan. You're going to be fighting against maybe several of these creatures, and that could be what you're going to fight to get the Revan shards. So I don't think we're going to be fighting against Revan. I think we're going to be fighting against this creature who also has an appetite for the blood of Force-sensitive characters, aka Force users like Jedi, which Revan. So it could be that we are fighting against these creatures to free Revan from them because maybe they've captured Revan. Who knows? Basically, I think this is what we're going to be fighting to get Revan. That is my idea. Now, that is who I think we're going to be fighting. Let's start talking about the event itself and breaking it down from there. So when it comes to how we see characters released in the game, we have several different methods. We have marquee events, which is the one that most of our characters have been released to lately. We have characters going straight to free-to-play stores like Galactic War shipments, Cantina shipments, anything like that. We have both legendary and hero journey events, and we also have raids. So there's 5 different ways that we primarily see characters released into this game. I think we can go ahead and safely cross off marquee, because there's absolutely no way that CG would be crazy enough to release him into a marquee event. They don't have a death wish, so they're not going to make him a marquee character, and we can very easily cross him off going straight to free-to-play stores, because there's no way EA would ever let that happen and lose it on so much money and really plummet their stock prices. There's no way he's going straight free-to-play. Now, the other 3 methods here, the legendary, the hero's journey, and the raids, all 3 of those seem pretty viable. However, I think we can also cross off raid at this time, because it's been 6-7 months since we had the Sith raid come out. There's no way we're getting another raid so quickly. So we are not going to see a new raid anytime soon that's going to release Revan as a new character. We could very possibly see new difficulties of raids in the future, but I think it's safe to say we're not going to see a brand new kind of raid that's going to release Revan as the prize for that. So no raid for him, which leaves us with Hero's Journey and Legendary. And this is tricky. I mean, a lot of people have been pushing for a Hero's Journey character or a Hero's Journey event for Revan, and I can see the appeal. Revan is a very popular character within the fan base for Star Wars. However, I don't think he has the certain level of iconic. He's not very iconic to most people out there. You look at Luke and you look at Rey, they're both the main characters for their trilogies. Everybody knows them. That is something you can't say with Revan. You have your people who know the books, who played the games. They love Revan, but most people out there who like Star Wars like the movies, not the games, not the books, not all the deep, rich lore. So they have no idea who Revan is, and that I think is the main barrier preventing Revan from being a Hero's Journey character, because number one, he's not that iconic, and number two, we don't have a previous version of Revan in this game yet. We had previous versions of Luke and Rey with the Scavenger Rey and the Farm Boy Luke. We don't have those with Revan. So there's a lot of barriers here. They could make things different for Revan with a Hero's Journey, but I don't think they're going to do that just yet. They are very adamant on what qualifies as a Hero's Journey character, and possibly in the future a Villain's Journey character, and I don't think they're going to break those rules for Revan just yet. So I don't think we're going to get a legend, or I don't think we're going to get a Hero's Journey character with Revan, so that leaves Legendary. So this really shouldn't come as a shock to most people out there, but I think the Old Republic characters are who we're going to be using to acquire Revan. It's the only characters that really make sense. There has been speculation that it's going to be Sith. However, Sith are way too accessible for most people out there. There's not money or panic farming to be had with Sith. So I don't think we're going to see Sith. We're going to see these 5 characters be required to unlock Revan. And this is going to be very interesting because there's some synergy between certain characters here. However, a faction as a whole, there's almost no synergy here. Bastilla and Jolie work great together, Mission and Zalbar work great together, and T3 is just kind of off on his own. There's no one here to hold them together and give them any kind of synergy. And so I think that we are going to use these 5 characters. It's going to be a generally difficult Legendary. I'm not sure if it's going to be on the tiers of Chewbacca difficult, but because I think there's almost no synergy at all with these characters as a whole, that it's going to be a bit more difficult to make this team work. Now, if you are looking at getting these characters for a Legendary, keep in mind you only need them at 5 stars to unlock a Legendary character. Now, if you bought the initial $10 pack when these characters came out to Marquee, you would automatically have these characters at 4 stars each. Now, that's very helpful here because then at that point, you only need 65 more shards to unlock these characters and upgrade them to level or to 5 stars. So I want to talk to you guys about how to focus getting these characters up to 7 stars, because I want to help you guys get Revan unlocked at the max star count. Now, first up, we're going to focus on the Cantina characters, and with those Cantina characters, we have 2 of them. We have Mission Val, who you can find her in the number 1, the weekly shipment, if you really want to drop that kind of money on her. Battle 7A of the Cantina battles. You can see 16 energy per Cantina battle, and you can expect a drop rate of about 33%, hopefully, fingers crossed. So here you go, you got 3 shards out of 9 battles. So, sorry, there's a stink bug in here somewhere. So they're about 33% chance drop rate on the Cantina battles. So you have her in Mission 7A of the Cantina, and you also have T3, who I believe is also in weekly shipments, if you're that crazy. Or you could buy the character shards for 80 crystals per character shard, which we can focus on later, but also 6B Cantina battles. So we'll go ahead and do another couple of sims for him. We got about 10 missions here we're going to sim, about a 33% chance to drop his shards. We should get about 3 shards. However, I have noticed that there have been some pretty good days with T3 when I've been farming him. Sometimes I'll get upwards of 50% when I'm simming his nodes here. So still a pretty decent drop rate, so you need to plan for that. Plan for at least a 33% drop rate on your Cantina characters. And also, when you go to both those characters, start calculating in the Cantina energy cost and figuring out what your best way is for those. And that is the trick, is that you're going to have to get both these characters upgraded, and you can only farm them from Cantina missions or through the shipments. Now, the shipments, I only recommend if you have a lot of crystals to spend and you are really panicking and you're really desperate. That's about the only time I recommend going for the crystal shipments here, especially this weekly shipment, where this is 2,000 crystals for 25 shards, which is roughly the same crystal price as it is for 4 shards for 320. So keep that in mind. If you want to go buy them in either place, be ready to drop some nice money to get those crystals for them. So you do have that with your Old Republic characters and the Cantina, both with mission and T3. Both those are going to be Cantina characters. Bastilla, Zalbar, and Jolie are a bit unique in their layout. When they first came free to play, they automatically got thrown into #1 weekly shipments. Look at that. 16 shards for Bastilla for 1280 crystals. But here's the interesting thing. They both got Fleet Battle and a hard node. So that is something to consider here. That was kind of my first clue that we were going to need Old Republic characters for something, and then Revan got announced. When you see a character come to the game, go free to play, and go right into 2 different hard nodes like this, that should raise a clue to you that something is going to be happening with this character in the near future. Otherwise, they would not make this character so accessible. Most characters get 1 hard node. Bastilla, Jolie, and Zalbar both got, or all 3 of them got 2 nodes. So that is a big red flag for most people that you should be paying attention to and saying, well, something's coming with these characters. What do I need to be worried about with them? And the answer was Revan. So hard node for both Bastilla and a Fleet Battle. So both of those are going to have about the same drop rate, which I think is about 30% for both of those. So I'm going to do 8 battles here, and I'm going to get 3 shards of Bastilla. So you have that. And they've also reduced the refresh cost of your hard nodes, so now it's 25, 50, and 100, so keep that in mind too. So all this with the lower cost to refresh, you're going to need to be strategic here. You can do a 25 crystal refresh on both the hard node and the ship nodes every day. You can see here that the ship node refresh cost is going to be 100 crystals, which is a little expensive, but you then have the 25 crystal refresh here. So you do have that with Bastilla. They're all kind of condensed. T3 and missions going to be the most difficult farm because you can only go for 1 character at a time with those Cantina missions. I would recommend you get them both up at the same time. You get 1 character to 5 stars, farm the other up to 5 stars. Get T3 or mission up to 6 stars, and then get the other character up to 6 stars. There's no point in rushing 1 to 7 stars because you're going to need both of them at 7 stars. So level them up equally in that manner. Bastilla, Zalbar, and Jolie, I highly recommend that you at least do 1 refresh of their hard nodes every day. That's going to be a lot of crystals probably for a lot of people, but keep in mind you're going to get a decent amount if you place decently high in your arena. You could get at least 200 crystals a day. That would be good for at least 1 fleet arena or fleet energy refresh, plus you do regenerate about 140 fleet energy a day, plus the bonus energy, so you have all of that going for you. So Old Republic, gonna be a bit of a farm, gonna be a bit of a panic farm, because I have no doubt we're going to get final word on Revan this week, and that we are going to see his legendary event come next week. It's moving pretty fast, I know, we don't have a lot of time, but I think that we are going to see Revan come into the game next week. And also, one other thing, start saving your Zetas. As a general rule of thumb, legendary characters always have 2 Zetas. Chewie's had 2 Zetas, R2-D2 has 2 Zetas. Every legendary character always has 2 Zetas, so save your Zetas. I made a mistake here where I spent one of my Zetas on, made a mistake and just spent one of my Zetas. So right now I only have room for 1 Zeta. I would not be surprised to see Revan come with a leadership Zeta, which then means that we are going to have another Jedi lead Zeta. And in case you guys don't know, I'm like General Grievous, and I have a really bad habit of collecting every lead Zeta for Jedis that is in the game, and it's a really bad habit of mine. I Zetaed Grandmaster Yoda, and then a week later Bastilla was released into the game, and then I was like, well, I have to Zeta her lead now too. So I've got Qui-Gon, Grandmaster Yoda, and Bastilla, all of their leads are Zetaed, and I'm more than likely going to see a lead Zeta on Revan. So we do have that going for her. I don't have Luminara's, which is nice. There's at least one there I don't have, but that one's kind of also garbage, so, you know, whatever. So that is what I think of Revan. I think he's going to be a legendary. We're going to need the KOTOR characters to farm him, and you will need at least 5 stars to unlock Revan. So start working on those KOTOR characters. Get them up to 5 stars at least, and then start being smart from there. You guys are probably wondering, well, cool, I've got my Old Republic characters. What do I do with them now? That's actually, glad you asked about that, because I actually have some videos planned this week for you guys anyways. I was going to be releasing some Old Republic characters now that they're all free to play. I was going to release videos on them, especially Jolie, and showing what Mission and Zalbar can do together. But then Revan was announced, and I was like, well, this is perfect timing. So there will be some videos this week showing what those 3 characters especially can do in different aspects of the game. So look forward to those videos this week. I'm sure we'll see a kit for Revan here soon. And I know you guys are probably going to have questions or comments about this. Feel free to drop them down below. If you guys did enjoy this video, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. I will talk to you guys later.